Okay, I guess we're ready to get started for the meeting tonight. First order of business, there's always the pledge of allegiance, and would everybody join in?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now we'll have the agenda review. Does anybody, Brian, if you have something that we did talk this morning, I didn't know where you want to put that.
We could probably just put it under, maybe just new business.
New business, okay. And that would be a little bit of, not a real long
No.
session on it, but just some discussion on our website. You all set, Kathy?
I'm good, thank you.
What?
You have an extra agenda for Kathy?
There was a
Here.
3 extra packets.
You all set, Kathy?
I am.
For the-
Oh, here.
Yep, I am.
And I assume everybody else is on the board, is Ed? Cody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, then we'll go to the minutes.
Christina, you don't have an extra pen, do you, dear? Thank you, this one here doesn't seem to want to participate, thank you.
Does anybody have any additions or corrections for the minutes? If not, then I would entertain a motion.
I'll make, well, go ahead,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second it.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of our July 18th. We got 2 minutes. Do you want to do them both together?
Yep.
Because I didn't say both. So we're gonna look at both. Does anybody have any
No,
additions?
they should.
We have one.
There's only
You
one.
only should be
Oh,
one.
look at the wrong.
Those are the minutes.
These are the minutes.
What I'm looking at has the agenda.
Okay.
We got too many papers in front of me.
You're all right, Earl.
Okay.
Okay,
The
so
world's wrong.
you got that motion in there correctly?
Cody and.
Yeah. All right, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, I'm sorry about that. Put this in.
All right, I'll put it in my stack, so you're not confused.
All right, now we can, public comments, but this would be comments strictly of something that is not on the agenda.
Only thing I got, Earl, is I wanted to make sure to, point out the exceptional job that the rec center did on Saturday for that first time Corn Fest. I think they really need to be applauded. They did a hell of a job. It was nice to see family and it's out there, and I think it was a good time had by all. I want to make sure that Nicole was recognized and her crew for the job that they did.
Definitely a good family event. A lot of kids enjoyed themselves. I saw that myself.
A lot of fun. We hope to make it bigger and better for next year, so everybody be on the lookout for Corn Fest in August of 2024.
All right, now we'll move on to law enforcement, which we have the animal control report.
This is both for July and then June and July.
I could speak on some of them,
Yeah.
not some,
Yeah,
not the other
I
ones.
thought you were porcupine Dan.
Yep, that was me. Yeah, but I think we already brought that one up.
Yeah.
We already discussed that one. The middle road abandoned dogs, I responded to that one. Didn't see any dogs in the home at all. Looks like they're in the process of moving, but there was no dogs. So, the dog in the car of Avishon's, didn't hear about that one at all. So I don't know what that is. That was not brought to my attention. And then one homestead dog bit man's foot. I did respond to that one. And it's basically, it was just a little dog. And one person says that it bit their foot, the other person says no, it was not leashed, so I did recommend that they would keep them on a leash. They did show proof of vaccination and licenses while I was there. And just gave them a recommendation to keep them leashed. And that's all I had.
And Jim had an unlicensed dog at large, was there any other issues there?
No.
Why is it, Brian, that he's no longer attending the meetings? He used to attend the meetings and give
Well,
us.
he works at his job in this time frame right now, so.
Okay, thank you.
Well, if anybody has any concerns, certainly you could get together with Brian and get their
Yeah.
relayed to Jim.
Yeah.
You know, don't hesitate to do
Right.
that.
Yeah, I'd like to sit down at some point and go over some things.
I think it's
I think it'd be really
overdue.
good to kind of, the whole porcupine thing
Yeah.
and some other calls. I think it'd be good to kind of talk about, what the job entails and what we should and shouldn't be responding to. I think it'd be a really good idea.
Is there a specific job description for that position?
They're,
The ordinance.
the ordinance,
That was by the
yeah.
ordinance.
And maybe that's what we should try to review with that, with Jim.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometime in the future, probably
Try to get him in.
a meeting, you know,
Yeah.
to take a look at that and get his thoughts too.
It'd be a good idea.
Okay, we can go on to the orders now, and the first one will be the general orders, and from July 19th to August 15th.
I'll make a motion
To approve.
to approve the general orders, net of $137,744.87 between July 19th, 2023 to August 15th, 2023.
I second.
All right, motion is made and second to approve the general orders, for the dates and the amount. Already mentioned, does anybody have any questions, on here, does somebody said?
On page 2 of 3, it says library grant. But they don't, their own grants.
Well, they got a grant that came to us,
Okay.
and it's going back to them. And they sealed it to us.
Perfect.
Anybody else? No, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried, next one will be the highway order. I like that, Kathy.
Much better, wasn't it?
I look at that this morning, oh,
What happened?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the highway orders for July 19th, 2023 to August 15th, 2023 for the amount of $35,855.57.
I'll second that.
okay, is there any questions on that? I only got one, and it says replace lost CH. On page 1, right at the top, or second one down.
Comcast replace lost check.
Is that what it
That's what
is?
it is.
Oh, okay,
Comcast, there was a check lost in the mail, so it replaced the check that was lost.
How did we do on paving? Did we stay within what we were quoted and budgeted? Everything's good?
did we?
Yeah?
Yeah, but I mean, we spent more than what we had actually budgeted.
Right, but we got paid for that parking, and we were still under,
We're under 350,000?
No,
I thought we had 4.
Not in the
We went
budget, no.
397.
No,
We were
so-
using some of the road and
Right.
you
It
wanted
did
to
go over
not
that.
Yeah, so,
coverage.
yeah, I think it was only 350, yeah, and we were gonna change,
Yeah.
right, in order to cover the difference. So we were slightly over at the end, but the cost was less than what they had give us the bid for, because it didn't use quite as many tons, right?
Alright. I know Campbell's Bay looks great.
Baker looks great too.
All right, we've had a motion made and seconded on highway orders, is there any more discussion or not? Then all those in favor?
Aye.
That motion carried, so then we're gonna be moving on to the, ARPA, which we don't have to, because no money was spent out of there. And then we have the library, but orders, aren't very much either. Go ahead, Steve.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the library order from July 19th, 2023 to August 15th, 2023 for the amount of $749.53.
I'll second that.
All right, motion been made and seconded, is there any questions or discussion on that? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried, and we'll go on to the highway general payroll.
I'll make a motion to approve the highway general payroll orders. The amount of $32,162.82 for July 19th, 2023 to August 15th, 2023.
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion for the highway and general payroll made and seconded, is there any questions or discussions? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Final one is the library payroll, right? Yep.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the library orders from July 19th, 2023 to August 15th, 2023 for the amount of $9,070.09.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made and seconded. I have one question, just out of curiosity, Mrs. Riando?
Summer help.
Summer help, just.
Summer help, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I haven't seen the name on there before.
Yeah.
Okay, motion been made and seconded, is there any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Now we can go on to highway department, and you have something on Brooklyn Street, so.
Yeah, there's a catch basin on Brooklyn Street that runs into the sewer. The village is gonna be eliminating that. So we're gonna have to get together.
Yeah. The catch basin that's there has been there for probably a long time. The sewer line is very old there. Dean of the village couldn't understand where in the sewer they were getting twigs and branches from. And they were able to locate it to that. So that has to be disconnected from the sewer system. In the meantime, we're gonna have to have some sort of drainage there to take up that slack. So the game plan is now to have a meeting of the minds between Dean of the village and Bill of the village, probably Heidi at the village, Kevin and Earl, if you're able to make a meeting, and myself. We can sit down and see how to do it, and we may have to get Tyler to come up with a plan how to do it. He went down and looked at it, he hasn't done anything.
I assume that stormwater
Yeah,
is
the
gonna be the
stormwater.
issue, so
Yeah.
we're definitely gonna have to do it right, because
Yeah.
otherwise,
It'll end up in people's yards and other places
well, on the state.
and the state. Right? So that'll be coming up in the next maybe 2-3 weeks. I don't know, whatever everyone's schedule. But
Is that gonna have to be, are any plans to address this issue gonna have to be state approved? You know, for the stormwater legislation, I don't know how it works.
that I don't know. We're gonna have to check that out. It's very possible, but I think probably well, we'll have to see what the flow is there and where everything goes, and probably get that's probably where we're going to need Tyler to give his expertise and what might be needed. But the village is adamant. I mean, they have to disconnect that.
Oh. So it's something that it's gonna get moving.
Whenever it's basically when they want to do
Sooner
the
rather
work.
than later.
Right. Yeah. I'd say while we're still in nice weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we get anything set up this week. Friday would work for me, I can tell you that right now. I could do it Friday, but it's gonna be tough.
It'll be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be tough for me too as well for this week, but we'll see
We
what.
don't know their schedule either.
And they don't know their schedule. They
Yeah.
had a major setback yesterday with
Yeah,
water
water
break.
break.
So, but I'll touch base with them, find out what they're looking at for time frame, and then we'll let you know.
Okay, one other thing, Kevin, I was over to the library yesterday, they started doing paint job, so I stopped and said hi to James. I just wanna make sure he still say hi to me. And he did, he was very nice. They could use a little bit of touching up in that library parking lot, there's a couple holes in there.
Couple holes in there.
Yeah, if you could go over there. And then one other issue, I talked a little bit with Ed about this, that I saw when I was there, and it was discussed the time we went down with the Librarian Historical Society about the water issue down there. Between the church and the library, if you take a look at it, you're gonna see that there's a pretty wide area stretch along that foundation that is sloped right into the.
Yeah.
And I don't know about the grade on that road, you would think that the driveway should hopefully carry the water out, but I don't know if it's set up for that right now.
Check it out.
Yes, I would like to have you check it out before we did anything, if you could do it at the same time you're patching holes or something.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, maybe put the transit on, if we get a good grade on it, I think what would help with the water issue in the basement. Anybody else have any questions for Kevin? Okay, Kevin and I did take a trip up to Swanton Hill. We took a look at it. And Kevin is gonna work out some numbers, and we got a pretty good idea right now of what it's gonna cost
Right.
for the repairs.
I got one more person to meet with on the drilling and blasting. Just waiting for him to call. His late tomorrow or Thursday.
Yeah.
The other one was supposed to get back to me. We all not looked at it.
Yeah. The other thing I asked Kevin to do is put together, not a elaborate spreadsheet, but something that tells you, because what's the mileage to get to Swanton Hill, not from the garage, but from when you leave Swanton Road.
From the line,
Yes.
from the line, it's roughly, I think, 6 miles from there up to our line on the Reynolds Road.
Yeah. So, there's a fair amount of trips there, especially in the winter time. Now, there is the possibility, and Kevin has also talked to the road commissioner or road foreman in Fairfield.
I mentioned it to him if we did get it. We're probably talking. He didn't say no. He didn't say yeah.
Yeah. But in the present situation, they're not gonna say yes.
We're already swapped Reynolds Road and Swan Hill, or Berry, whatever you wanna call it, for a little stretch down on Sweet Hollow. But if we can trade a little bit more for some of Pond Road, Mackenzie Road and stuff, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think there'd probably be some some savings in fuel and time if we didn't have to go up there, for sure, you know, and it's probably not gonna be a great payback, but, you know, time,
We've swapped before with St. Albans, and that Swanton Hill is a whole.
yeah. So we get some numbers together, then, we'll have to decide if it's something that we think we can do, and then the big issue is how we're gonna pay for it. But we're coming into budget, so that's the other thing. So does anybody got anything for Kevin? If not,
What were the boys doing in Maple Grove today, Kevin?
What's that? Excuse me.
What'd you have the guys doing in Maple Grove today?
They were just checking for
The demo?
potholes,
Okay,
stuff like that.
all right, I saw them there, they were there.
And they got rid of a load of cold vents.
Yeah, they were there.
They were there. Yeah, we gotta get up and do some trimming.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I see they started, but or somebody did.
Somebody did, Brandon was sitting, somebody was out there with a lead line.
Yeah, it was probably somebody in the development. But I noticed it, but they didn't do a very good job, so I knew it wasn't you guys. Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah.
okay, you can say Kevin if you want.
Oh, come on.
Have a good night, Kevin, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
I got one. You too.
Alright, so we'll go on to Old Town business, and that's the library building issues.
Yeah, just a couple of updates. First of all, the memorandum of understanding has all been signed by all the appropriate individuals, and so that is now on file. As far as the building issues, tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, Gladys Skangus, the architect from St. Albans, will be meeting with me, and we're going to go up into the attic and take a look at that situation involving the heat duct and see what he might suggest and be able to work out. Also, while I'm over there at 8 o'clock, Jason Stoddard from Champlain Valley Gutters is going to show up, and he's going to give us an estimate for gutters on both the First Street and the Methodist Church side. Now, that's, since you noticed that, great.
Yeah.
The only thing I have on that, do we know who owns that alleyway?
No, and you probably need to check into that,
Yeah.
I mean, we're only gonna improve it, so.
Oh, yeah,
right.
I just, before we got to do
Yeah.
any work.
Yeah, no, I don't have.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we'll get, but we'll get some estimates for those gutters anyhow. And then on Thursday afternoon, is the basement people are gonna come and take a look
2:30.
at 2:30.
You're gonna be
at
there
the
with me,
base-
Cody? Okay,
Okay, so you and,
Cody and I are,
Yeah.
got prior commitments.
I don't have a prior commitment yet, in fact, I forgot about this issue because the memorandum of understanding says once we find out what's gonna need to be done to fix that, then we gotta come to some kind of agreement where we're gonna move this up and how it's gonna be handled.
Yeah,
So I will make it.
okay.
okay, so.
2:30.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have to warn that as a
Can
meeting.
you make it? Slip over.
Yeah, that's right.
But then we'd have to warn it.
No,
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, we're warning it because
We're
it's,
gonna
today.
have to warn it
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, there's already
It's
enough.
gonna be warned anyway,
Today's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we have to warn it.
tomorrow morning.
Everybody can hear it from the horse's mouth, as they say. It's better than having it repeated. So, all right.
The only other,
What time, 2:30?
2:30.
I'll put it online right now.
The only other thing,
I'm gonna try to get there.
I can do it.
What day?
You can?
Yeah.
All right.
What's that?
Thursday the
I
17th.
got something I need to go over before, so yeah, if you can make it tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
when we're doing these gutter estimates
Yep.
for the library, I'd like to get a couple estimates.
I
We
guess we
can,
could
it
look
just
up-
slows the process. so.
That will, yeah, but it probably won't be that bad, but I don't know, I guess we'd have to look and find out who else is in the gutter.
Yeah,
The reason why we hired this one is because
he did this.
he already had done this building, so we knew we had that one.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't hire him yet, but.
No.
That's
Well,
what
we
we
can
had.
get another estimate.
I think in all fairness, in the community, I think anything like that, I think we should have a couple estimates. And that's in my opinion, that's the way of keeping everybody honest.
Well, there's probably a lot of truth to that. The other thing, if we're gonna do that, and I agree, I think Ed, I'm glad you brought that up, because we do, it's probably a really good idea if we do ask for more than just one. And I don't have a problem with waiving a public RFP for this amount of money. But, you know, if we make
Just
several
make a
calls,
phone call.
and people can
Yeah.
either say yes, we'll come
Yeah.
and give you a bid or not. The other thing that'll be important here is when they can complete the project.
And I agree with that, Mr. Chair. My concern is, I don't want the public, the community to say, well, how come this guy's doing all the town's work? What about this guy over here? And that's why I think it's very important that when we're doing a project like this, we get more than one estimate. Just my opinion.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Hopefully we can get maybe one or two more people in there before our next meeting and then make a final decision then. So that would be at our meeting in September.
September.
Quick, right around the corner.
Summer's gone.
Okay, so I'm planning on having this resolved at our next regular select board meeting.
So,
Yes,
is this meeting taking place of the meeting that was going to happen on the 22nd?
no, and don't miss it.
So that.
Don't worry.
No, this is not. In fact, we didn't even put any of that issue at this meeting because we're going to save it for that meeting.
Okay,
That's
so
what I'm saying.
I will hold my tongue until the 22nd.
Thank you, Sandy.
I'll write it down. As you all know, I'm not good at making a long story short.
Well, okay, so those are the main issues, and I think we're gonna have some more information, I'm hoping, for our next meeting. You know, get Laz to look at that, see what this guy with the foundation said, but who is gonna be representing the library and the historical society? They need to be here on Thursday at 2:32.
I can go, I'm free.
Good.
And Glenn?
More the merrier.
Glenn?
Glenn?
Dentist and doctor on Thursday.
Oh, okay. I can be there.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, but you're historical. Oh,
They're all
no.
historical.
Oh, they're all.
So we got one there. Now, what about from the, well, I assume the library shouldn't be a problem to get.
Well, they close at 2 o'clock that day, so I can only imagine somebody will probably be around.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Rebecca, get hold of her.
Let's
Yeah,
see, is that
better let her
the-
know right off tomorrow, because they need to be there, because we'll be discussing if we have some kind of idea of what needs to be done after the guy's there. We gotta sit down and have a doc and see how all this is gonna be, all this stuff is gonna be handled.
So see if I can. Yeah, 2:30, Laz. Okay,
It's not Laz.
It's not live, it's the basement company.
Basement company.
Yeah.
okay, Laz is coming tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes, 8 AM.
Okay,
It's this Wednesday.
got it.
Northern basements.
Is there anything else on the building issue in the library?
No.
Need more. And I assume that, the painting is presuming well, they look like they were up there today.
They
Yeah,
started
so-
yesterday.
Yeah, I
so-
see they were at
I can
it.
stop on it.
Well, hopefully that'll get completed before we get any more rain, but it's gonna be hard. So I guess we don't have any more building issues right now on the library.
For now, that's what we got.
Okay. So, I know we have some historical people here. Historical in the true sense too, because is there any other discussion you think we should have tonight? I don't think we should have much now until we find out what we need to do, to get that water issue addressed, besides the two things we talked about tonight, the gutters and maybe regrading that driveway. Okay, and did you wanna bring something else? Huh?
not knowing that we're gonna have a bigger meeting next week.
No.
No, not on this particular issue.
Her issue.
Well, no, not necessarily her issue, I think, let's just say it's a community issue, but that would be strictly for the community center / rec
Okay.
building.
So this is just about the building's actual structural issues,
Right.
not
Yes.
about
Yes,
the moving. Okay.
yeah, because until we know what we're gonna need to do, it's hard to say.
Yes.
And I believe that the proper time to have the discussion about that is after we know. That's why we're gonna have all the interested parties here Thursday. And hopefully we will, we'll have some idea by then.
That would be great.
So I would just say this tonight,
Under.
really. When I read the MOUs, I think it's really important that we remember the main issue and the reason that Art Spear invited the Historical Society to be in the library is to make that information available to the public. And there really isn't another place where that information can be available to the public. Since the Historical Society doesn't have a paid staff, not open all winter. And this is probably why many libraries in Vermont make a space for the Historical Society, so that information is available to the public, and that's the key word there.
Well, it's, we understand that. We'd like to see this be more available to the public. So that's the goal here. And there's probably gonna be a lot of different options we consider, but I know what you're bringing up, and I know what Heather wants to say, but I'd really rather hold it until Thursday,
Okay,
okay?
thank you.
But yeah, we understand that.
I might be dead by then, but that's
Oh, I don't think so, Sandy. If we do, and then we solve all this and have something nice for the people of Swanton, we'll do it in your honor, okay?
But thank you, Earl.
Alright. So, I guess that ends the discussion there unless somebody else has got something to say, because we do have some other issues. So the next one would be set the tax rate. Okay. Do you have any interesting numbers?
Yep, they're in your
Your
packet.
packet.
You sign those later.
I'll pass it.
Yeah, there we go. I'm right here for you though.
Thank you.
Get Cody on one side, me on the other, we'll
Yeah.
keep you straight.
I'm used to my
Well, you
wife.
should try.
That's it.
She does it for me.
So if you can see on the left-hand side are last year's tax rates for 2022. And on the right-hand side is your 2023 tax rates. And the difference between last year and this year on the general fund is an increase of 0.0430, which comes from last year it's 1.1268, this year it's 0.1698. The highway fund, last year was 0.2707. This year it's 0.3171 with a 0.0464 increase. So the subtotal, adding the highway and the general fund together, the total tax rate is 0.4869 versus 0.397 last year, which is a 0.0894 increase. On the education rate, which we got our rates from the state, last year's rate was 1.3036. This year, the residential rate is 1.3849 for an increase of 0.0813. So the non-residential education rate last year was 1.5489. This year it's 1.5535 for a 0.0046 increase. So overall, the municipal rate increase was 22.49%. The residential education rate was a 6.23% increase, and the non-residential was actually a 0.29% increase. So based on the calculations of the general highway, education, and non-residential and residential rates, the projected projected rate will be 1.8718 for residential and 2.0404 for non-residential.
And so that's a 17-cent increase over last year. Is that 8-cent increase in the ed rate residential? Is that because of the changes in the CLAs or our level?
I would say yes for the residential. Well, no, the CLA drives the whole rate. So, and that's based on our grand list. So
Right.
depending on how much non-residential and residential properties we have, they do their calculation and come up with a rate for us. So there's a lot of, the CLO drives that too, right, Jim? So there's a number of rates that, things gets thrown into that and comes out of the rate. So values the same level of rates on it. And then they do the calculation based on what the budget is, and then they come up with our portion of the total.
Maybe a better way to put that question would be, how much of this is driven by the changes in appraisal and how much is driven by the budget?
Well, the change in appraisal.
I mean, because of the, because.
Assessment, our assessment did, the listers did add, quite a number more dollars to our grand list. There was an increase, so with that increase, I mean, it offset, it could have been a higher rate of increase. But as far as it's kind of, the total grand list drives that rate. And the total budget drives that rate. So the state does their calculation based on our grand list and how much of that, the $44 million budget belongs to, our percentage goes to Swanton. And that's how they come up with a rate, so it's a lot of stuff goes into it. So they come up with a rate.
Well, I'm just thinking that, 17 cents, so on 100,000, what's that, $170? So that's like $340 on a $200,000 home. Now, that's not just town tax, that's includes the
Everything,
education.
the whole
That's
total, right.
Your total bill's gonna be. Of other towns, I assume we're facing some of these same issues, at least on the education side probably, and I don't know, Jim, like, being in a lister's office.
I really can't tell you what the other towns, how their change was from their educational point of view. Ours being what, roughly 8 cents a hundred, Kathy? And some of them varied because their common level of appraisal was quite low. It dropped quite low. Ours, we're still lucky, it was still up around 90%.
So we're not getting penalized because of our CLA, whatever you call it thing.
No.
No,
Okay, that's, otherwise it would have been more.
could happen.
Yeah. Well, what other kind of comments we got on this? I mean, there's nothing we can do about the budgets have been approved. The budgets don't seem so bad in January, but in August, when you get the bill, But in reality, I don't see how we could do many things different than what we're doing to save money, because we're not, certainly not overspending.
There's so much we can't control,
That's right.
fuel, all that stuff. There's just parts, supplies, everything's going up.
Everything's more expensive.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we approve the tax bill approvals for 2023.
Okay,
A second.
all right, the motion to approve the tax rate for 2023. You have that number, right? Has been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? And, guys, any public comment on this specific issue? Yes,
One
yeah.
comment I think you should make is very clear, what is the total tax rate for the town, including the school?
Yes, that's what I wanted to make sure, this is the total.
Yeah.
Right.
so the residential tax rate, with the school, general fund and highway fund is 1.8718% for residential rate, and for non-residential rate, it's 2.0404.
Any other comments on the public? No, I'm sure we'll be here then. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, motion carried, tax rate has been set for this year. Next item on the agenda. Kevin Wolfe. You're on.
Yes, sir. I'm back.
It's not a big surprise.
I don't see much progress made since the last time I was here. I don't see any progress. So correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, what would, I wanna make sure, I know there's some issues that probably the town can't do anything about, but we did have considerable discussion with the individual. It's just, you know, what he was asking wasn't realistic.
That was, yeah, I'm not even talking about that, so.
Yeah.
We had the executive session, and if you wanna go back and look at and listen to your minutes, we got some new faces here. I had some old faces here because I've been here enough times.
Yeah.
And you're gonna find that, well, we're gonna wait for him to get past his busy season, and we're gonna make this happen. Well, he's working for the tow place. We talked about getting the health department involved. I talked about getting the fire marshal's office involved. So we got somebody doing something that was pretty much said, yeah, is wrong, and he's still allowed to do it. So you've got somebody living in Merchants Row. It's a filthy pen. He's living there, he was living there, he is living there, and nothing's been done about it that I'm aware of. So, you know, I have Scampers building. Does that mean that we can turn that into apartments? Probably not. So basically what you're saying is he can do it, but I can't. That's the way I'm taking it. So, I mean, you really were gonna put the hammer down after the busy season, and it was gonna take place. I mean, I was driving down the road today just thinking about some of the stuff. That's why I just, you know, it was very unsanitary. Oh yeah, we know that. Yeah. So why isn't health department? Don't they get involved? Fire marshal. We know that he's not supposed to be living there. Oh, fire marshal. You know, I've called those guys 25 times, and they're turning their back to it. And it seems like everybody has. So I pay plenty of taxes in this town. I don't live here, but I pay my share of taxes on the businesses that I have. And I find that not much has been done about an issue that I've been told is wrong. It's wrong, it's not right, he can't do it, and he continues to do it.
Well, I think Brian would probably be someone who can give you more update on at least the fire marshal issue and then the health thing too. We didn't really get anything that we could use solidly. So we would have had to probably push the envelope when you get into a court of law.
So is it money, is the money the issue? We don't have the money to fight it.
Well, it isn't so much that we don't have the money to fight it, is there's a possibility we might not win. Which is worse. Because then, you know.
Well, I guess I'd rest a little easier than knowing that at least you attempted to do what was gonna be done, was we're gonna move forward.
That's one way of looking at it.
It sure is, and then there's winners and losers when you get done, and then at that point, do we turn it into an apartment block over there? I'm serious, I mean, it makes no sense to me at all. You got a guy that caught a building on fire because he was living in there, and then I had to pay a tremendous amount of money to get my building up to speed on the whole sprinkler system, which that's coming alive again too, by the way, really soon. I mean, I finally hired an attorney out of Burlington, and that's not going away. And so you'll be hearing some warping and winding going on that real soon, because I'm not going to continue to supply those guys services, and they're not paying them.
Yeah.
So that's a whole different thing. I'm talking about him living there. That's why I came here.
I really wish I had and I put some time into this, Kevin, I really have. I'm not bullshit.
Yes, you have.
You know, we're not on wicked solid ground pursuing the things that we had talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
And I get your point, well, we got, maybe we should do it, but if we fail, you'll know we've done it, but it ain't gonna solve the problem. You're still gonna have to deal with that issue. So, I mean, I can't tell you anything that's gonna make this go away anytime soon.
Yeah, I assume it's not going away then, because it's been about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And so, the only reason it got brought back up is here I am. It's not like I've heard from anybody saying, oh, we're trying to work on this, because it's just like the law enforcement. We got hotter things that we're trying to put fires out on. So that got put on the back burner, and now it's just simmering, and now it's cold, okay?
The other thing is, I forget what I wanted to say on that, but I'll go ahead and you had a comment.
Have you, or, I'm not sure your name, sir,
Kevin,
have been advised by a lawyer who specializes in this kind of situation?
Well, from the town zoning perspective, we did some investigation, okay, and then, of course, this is where the health officer, or the state health officer comes in and all that stuff. So that, we've had those conversations with those, so we have an idea that, it's not clear cut. Okay, the place is open 24 hours a day, he can make that argument, and he can say, I can go to my place anytime I want. So that's gonna be a killer now, health codes and shit like that have to get enforced. But one of the issues, Kevin, I think that would be helpful, and maybe you can help us on this, not you personally, but maybe you know somebody that could. We need a private partner to do something. We can't do it on our own. And that's where we're at, okay?
and to answer you, no, I haven't hired an attorney, because when you've got a commercial zone building with somebody living in,
So
turn it into residential,
you have a contractor?
I didn't think it should be my expense. No, it's not my building.
Oh,
It's not my building. It's his building, but he's cost me a lot of money because he's living in there. So he's my neighbor, living in there, it's costing me money. We know that it's commercial, not residential, but he lives there. So that's why I'm gonna spend money on this water issue that I'm talking about, which is a different issue. But I didn't plan on spending money to take care of something that I thought was gonna be easier for the board, which obviously is not. So I thought it was like, here, I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna put that fire out.
Well, it seems like there has to be a discussion, what is commercial and what is residential, with somebody who's a lawyer with technical terms, privately probably.
If we,
Go ahead, Brian.
apparently, it's the law in the state of Vermont, or their legal right, when you own a building and you run a business, and his business is open 24 hours a day, he has the legal right to stay in that building as long as he wants, to protect his property. That's the argument. The fire marshal's office was investigating last year, and the person in the fire marshal's office who was doing the investigation was going a long time, but was told by his superior to stop.
Yep, I agree with you. No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
So
somebody's rattled somebody's cage.
that's what it was. So really, Earl is correct. I mean, if we took this to court, it's thin ice.
I see.
That makes it a little difficult.
So, as I said, Kevin, that the real way to do this is we can find some kind of public partner to come in here. That's gonna be the quickest way to resolve this problem.
Yeah, but you already played that game with him, and he wasn't being realistic.
Well, he wasn't, but maybe if somebody wanted to come in with some kind of reasonable plan, to use that for what it should be used for, we might be able to get some grant funding to make it possible. And that's why, but we're not gonna be able to do it on our own. We gotta have a public, private partner with a plan. And we can assist him to get started. And that way we can make it affordable for him or her. Or, I don't wanna get into all that.
No.
Okay, but you know what I mean, Kevin, this is And it's the only way I see this issue to get resolved permanently and for the benefit of everybody involved. These other avenues, it's not gonna change. It's not gonna make the place look better.
No.
It's not gonna make the issue go away. Maybe he won't live there. He'll go out and sleep in the parking lot in his car, okay? So when he's tired, the rest of the time he's in there waiting. And you can't do nothing about that. And, you know, it's probably gonna stay in the same condition it is now.
But
So-
what a loophole, I'm saying that you're saying, so if you run a business 24 hours, so all you gotta do is open up some 24 hours and you can turn it into residential, it's just.
Well, I think you're kind of stretching it there.
Well,
That would be an obvious situation. This isn't quite the way the law looks at it. But I'm just saying, I'm not a judge. We were told this, but Brian is, you know, the board has been aware of this. That's why, you know, we're not, it wouldn't be a fiscal responsible for us to spend a lot of money on legal fees on something we already been told is not a very good avenue to address this issue.
okay,
But we are looking for that.
so I won't be back on this issue, I promise. Is that at the end of the road? No, I'm serious, it's like, it's outrageous. It's outrageous.
attorney? Brian Monahan.
So appreciate your time, and like I said, I'm obviously worried because it's going absolutely nowhere. It's based on some of the Vermont law by the sounds of it, so I mean,
We can't pull the money out of the sky, Kevin, you know that just as well as I do. I doubt if we're gonna get public approval for money to do anything down there, but we can work with a private partner. Yes, Heather, one more comment.
So there's no more notice that you could, as a town, to present to him saying, we are aware of this situation, we would like to have it remedied? Is there any
Well, the
action you can do?
the zoning
your
offices,
Attorney?
she's went as far as she could possibly go.
She did, okay.
Yes.
There's,
It isn't like, you know, this went to death years for the board. We've done everything with our means and we're at a standstill, unfortunately. And I can certainly understand where you're coming from. We all do. I think I can speak for the whole board, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
but as long as this issue's out here and it's a public meeting and maybe somebody on TV might see this, you know, this goes to a really bigger issue that we need to make some significant improvements on Merchant Road.
Yes.
And, you know, that's where, and to do that, we really gonna need some private partners. But I
that brings
do,
up, yeah, but that brings up a whole nother subject.
I know, brings the whole thing, but
I haven't
it,
heard lately what's going on with the whole road thing, but when that was brought to my attention, and we're gonna delete more and more parking spots, I mean, yeah, we might gain some on the property down below, run parking down here. I'm telling you, the old folks are not, I mean, as it is, the people going to the laundromat, people lugging their stuff a long ways, I'm surprised. I don't know how much business he gets, obviously, I don't frequent the
Yeah.
place, but I'm saying,
no,
I mean, you're taking away more and more, which is a different thing than, but.
yeah, it is, but
How can
it's
you
part of
improve
the
Merchant
overall
Road
issue. Yeah.
by deleting all the parking spots, and I'm just saying you can't.
Well, we do need to come up for a better plan for Merchant Road. I'm just saying, nobody's really gonna argue that. There's a lot more potential there, but it's gonna take a significant investment, and that is money's always the issue.
Cause I wouldn't,
But I wanna put out to the public that they need to understand that right now, I think there are more opportunities for communities to leverage funding for these type of things with private partners than there ever was. And we're outside of Chittenden County, so that gives us even a little more leverage.
yeah,
But we need help. We need some private people to come forward with an idea that's fit for this community. And we're gonna keep working towards that. It ain't gonna happen fast enough, I understand that. But that, I think, is a way to permanently address this problem.
mhm.
We can do 100,000 of small little fixes
But,
A week later, it's gonna be in the same thing. We gotta address what is causing it. Okay?
Well, there's one of them.
Okay. All right, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.
Interview the listener position. And we have the candidate. Does everybody know the candidate?
I don't think I do.
All right.
Hi, Kevin.
Why don't you come
How
up
you doing?
and, and
Where do you want me to
introduce?
sit?
Come up here, come right up here.
Am I standing? It's gonna be weird.
No, we got a chair right here.
So you don't phone or anything?
We try to be friendly.
I know her.
You do a good job, Christine.
Thank you.
So go ahead and introduce yourself. to the
I'm
board.
Kevin Nichols, I live in West Swanton. I talked to Mr. Pratt about doing this a few years ago. Basically, with my background in construction and as a property inspector, which Ed knows, he was on the other end of an inspection on his own home when he was selling, I believe I'll be a good fit for this. I'm almost 50 years old, I've had 2 reconstructive shoulder surgeries. As a property inspector, I need to get on roofs a lot. I want to kind of wean myself out of that and get myself secured for my latter years of life. So I believe I'd be a good fit for this position. I've been in hostile situations before as far as people grieving on site immediately. It's happened hundreds of times. I'm able to take care of things like that. Even Ed, on your side, we had some discussions and disputes about certain things. We ironed everything out and we became friends over it.
Yeah, that's correct.
So I just believe with my background and with my education, I'd be a nice fit for the town. Come on, Earl, give me something.
Ooh, I got several.
Oh, I know.
Careful what you ask for.
I know, Nicole, right?
Well, when you said, you know, you'd like to, have, you know, look forward to slowing down of your other work and there isn't that kind of income in a lister position, is there, Jim?
Well, it's not about the income. Well, my income can go from $100,000+ a year to last year was 35, because of the way the housing market was. Now, with having storage facility and having a farm in Highgate, I have supplemental income that does come in. This would fit in good hourly, and I still am a contractor on the side. So I can come and spend however many hours here and still contract jobs out, still do storage, and still maintain a farm in Highgate. So it will fit in well with me. Now, I was worked in a union for 20 years, so by the time I'm 55, I'm gonna draw a pension out of that union, and I will be able to eliminate property inspections almost completely, or at least limit them to 1-level houses, so I'm not fearful for my life in Franklin and Chittenden County. My schedule I can accommodate for however. So if I'm here 8 to 12, I can do an inspection at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, if I'm here all day, let's say per se on Friday, I don't schedule any inspections. I just think it'll be a good fit in that aspect for me, like I'm saying, as the latter part of my years. You know, not that I'm that old, but 50 is not exactly young anymore, especially when your shoulder's been reconstructed a couple times.
It's not bad.
So I just turned 49, but I look older. It's not my fault.
You do have a lot of experience in the, health inspection, but, you know, these are appraisal, either dollar values and a lot of state regulations, you know.
I realize there'll be a learning curve.
Current use and.
Yeah, current use, we have it on the farm.
Jim, I'm sure Jim has told you all
Oh,
about them, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, being a lister, part of it is the data collection. That's probably one of the most important parts of it, and that, of course, is where Kevin is probably, he's collected data for what he's already doing, and it's just a matter of adding some different factors to that data. And you're looking at, instead of the quality of you're looking at the quality of the building, but he and I already talked about what he looks at and the way we look at quality as an average. These are some of the factors. It's a learning curve.
It's a learning curve. There's a difference between, and Ed had seen what I do as far as a property inspection. I look at everything. Everything.
Yes.
You're talking about foundation work over there and the negative grade in that On the library, the grade should be 6 inches the first 10 feet. Make sure your downspout extensions are 6 feet away from the place on a downward slope when you put gutters up. These are things that I do. You know, these are things that I was taught, these are things I went to school for. I know it's not gonna be anywhere near in depth, but I do have the knowledge of, okay, if I go into a house and say, okay, there's a fireplace there, I'd be able to come back and see if there was a fireplace listed there, or the basement's finished. Or if there's a new kitchen, new bathroom's been installed, or new roof's been installed, new siding's been installed, new windows have been installed. I already have that ability doing 1,000 inspections before. That's what my eye is trained for.
Well, you can't go overboard on this stuff, do you?
I'll do what the regulations of what the town wants me to do. I know, and Jim
Well,
has
I
also
mean,
said that,
There
you
is
know,
dealing with the public and being fair because these, you know, I mean, we're all paying a bill here and, you know, if you, you know, maybe $5 here ain't worth the argument, you know,
yeah,
sometimes you know.
definitely things like that. Which I've had plenty of discussions with buyers and sellers and clients, and they were on the spot discussions. You know, as Jim and I talked about, if somebody comes in a somewhat hostile form, you have a meeting set up for them and everybody works together as a group. And I told Jim, I've never had that. I have a phone call that's immediate, and I have to deal with the situation immediately. I don't have anybody else, and 99.9% of the time, it's fine. I get through the situation, we become, you know, it's business and personal. And this is a business. So I'm able to do the business as well as you, and then there's personal aspect.
Well, this isn't really a business, it's just a town.
Yeah.
So, and the people in the town really are sort of like the ones that own it.
Right.
So you're kind of working for them, so in a way, in a big way, really. And dealing with the public is gonna be a big part of that job.
I deal with the public all the time,
Yeah.
all the time.
Usually they're right.
You just make them feel good and laugh a little bit, that's all you do. I know there's no pun intended on that.
I'd like to hear from Jim. You guys have spoke before previously, right? So I'd like to know like your opinion.
Specifically,
Jim didn't
Jim.
hear you.
I didn't-
Oh,
Speak up. Go ahead.
I didn't hear what you said.
Thanks for having my back, Jim.
What do you think, Jim?
I would like to know your opinion.
Well, if you want my honest opinion, it's a job that you've gotta be able to address, be able to go on site, know what you're looking at, and he has a lot of experience in that, even though it's in a different way of being used, but it is also considered part of the situation that we look at. As an example, he talked about foundations. One of the factors of the foundation of a house is you've got a rectangular foundation or you've got a foundation that's got 14 corners in it. That's a big factor in how you grade property. And this is things that people have to look at, and Kevin, having his ability to look at what he's already been doing, should be able to pick this up quickly. It's a hard thing to explain to people that have never done it. Some of the things they've really got to look at. Maybe not talk about while they're doing it, but they have to notice it, look at it, jot it down, that type of thing to come up with it. And we've had people that have come in for listers, they work at it for maybe a year and it's time to run again and nope, they don't want anything more to do with it. I've had 2 or 3 that I thought would have been real good at it, but it wasn't what they cared about doing.
Ryan and Kevin, the only applicant we've had so far.
Yes.
Well, Mr. Chair, all I can say is, I've had several, incidents with Kevin. They've always been in good faith, and he's been straightforward and honest, did what he said he'd do, and, so, I don't wanna feel impartial, but I think he'd be a good fit for the job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nicole, you haven't really asked a question yet. Did you have a question?
Question, no. I mean, I know Kevin as a community member, and I think he could handle situations with the community very well, as I've had many interactions with him myself, and I'm confident in his ability with dealing with the community. It certainly looks like he has a lot of experience that would make him a great candidate for the position as well. I think if it's something he's interested in, I feel that it would be a great candidate, a great position for him.
One final question. Would you, are you doing this with the intention of running again, or you're just doing it to find out what it's about?
No, I'll do with the intention of running again. Like I said, Earl, as I get older and my body is, when it's 10 below zero, I would rather be in an office now than on a roof. You know, different things like that aspect, and I
feel for you.
well, I just think that, you know, I think I would be an asset. And I just, and I know there's a learning curve, and you know, and I'm sure that Jim and the others are gonna teach me when to say things and when not to say things, when on site, and where to take pictures and where not to take pictures and different things like that, and how to go through things. Like I said, my background is ridiculously thorough with homes. You know, really thorough.
Yeah.
You know, as far as a drain and your spa in your house, thorough. So, but as far as taking measurements and doing different things like that, I have an eye for it, and I've done it.
Yeah.
And I've also built a lot of things.
Well, if it's, obviously it's something you're doing for a career, so you do have an interest in it, and probably because, you know, I mean, having someone in a lister position probably is the one position where if somebody knows what they're doing and knows the system, should stay in it.
Right.
Than having people run it, you know, and retrain it. You know, because it's more about accounting, you know, and getting all the stuff and make sure all the programs are properly administered for the benefit of our citizens. Because I gotta say, Jim, when we're on the air, you've done that a lot for the people of Swan. You know, you bent over backwards to make sure they weren't paying any more than they had to pay. And, you know, that's what makes a successful lister, I'm sure.
The other theory, Errol, is that the way I want to be treated is the way you should treat the residents, and how you go ahead and assess property. Now, they will have compensation, they may think that you're not right on it, but it's up to you to explain to them where you're coming from for what you're coming up with for figures. And that's once you start to talk about it, they start to understand. And in the process of lately with the sales that we have, the state requires that we look at all sales and justify the sales. And the one thing that they ask us to be looking at is lost inventory, or inventory that was never addressed. And I had one here just shortly this last spring here, called in after they got a notice. And I he asked, he says, what is all this anyways? He says, are you chasing the sale? He says, I've talked to the realtor. And I said, no, we're not chasing the sale. Have to look for inventory. And I explained to him, I says, you had a property, I says, that has no foundation in it according to what we had it assessed. It's a frost wall with a slab. He says, that's right. And there was 2 or 3 other things, you know, and that is all part of it. And it probably changed his assessment. I'm gonna say it may have changed his assessment by $60,000, but it still was far below what he paid in ratio for the property. And, you know, that's what you kind of have to look at, and quality sometimes.
Just one more comment I want to make about Jim Pratt. And I want you to listen to it because I think it's important. You're gonna learn what you should learn from Jim. You don't need to learn the state regulations. You learn to commit to helping your community and making sure people are getting what they're supposed to get. That's what'll make you successful in this job. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you, Jim, for your service.
Well,
Thank you.
Well, at this point in time, if someone wants to make a motion to appoint Kevin,
You know, I'm gonna move.
I'll
okay.
second that.
All heard.
All right, then a motion's been made, second and third, I guess I would fourth it, I guess, hold reservation. Just so you know. I'm going.
Don't forget, Kevin,
I won't be.
I got my faith in you.
Yeah, no. Thank you, Ed. So all those in favor?
Aye.
So Kevin, congratulations.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you.
Cody second.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You want me to sit back there now?
I feel weird. You guys are talking about other things, I'm just gonna hang out here. I'll sit back.
Okay, now we on to discussion, the date for the next regular select board meeting.
I only put that in there. We have met for the last 3 years, the day after Labor Day, and that's fine, but I just put it in there in case some members of the board may be taking an extra long weekend or something.
Catherine's got her hand up.
If there's no objection, we can keep it to the day after Labor Day, but if one or two of you are gonna be
Fine
gone.
for me.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
I
Okay.
mean, I guess it would be more up to you guys because that's a long holiday weekend, and if you wanted an extra day to get, you know, more for myself, I don't think, it makes any difference to me.
We'll keep it as it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Christine, you went away for 3-4 days?
Nope.
Okay.
Her time has been used up.
Oh.
I'm flexible traveler though.
And we don't do the orders at that meeting anyway, so.
You know,
Okay.
No, that's good.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, all right, we'll leave it the same date.
Yep.
And then we'll have that short discussion on the website.
Yep.
You added that to
You have to sign
business.
all those.
Oh, yeah.
Newtown business?
Newtown.
Yeah, Newtown business would be.
You want me to explain it, Earl?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, well, then Nicole's got some stuff here too, and then we'll have to, you know, kind of think about how we're gonna do this, because we need to get more, we don't have everything there we should have.
Right.
But you're not going in the beginning, so.
Okay. Okay, Earl called me this morning and mentioned that he's looking at the website, and then there's a spot there, community calendar on the website, and there was nothing listed. And he's right, but the problem we had is people submitting the information to us to put it on there. We don't know who's doing what. This has been a problem that has been, well, I remember years ago when I was active in the Chamber of Commerce, that was a problem then. There was no central place for anybody to send something. So we can become the central place. And what we just quickly, Christina just quickly drafted this letter that we will send out, or we'll tweak it, to all organizations and in the community, the schools, and the other nonprofit organizations, to the village, and to anybody that we can think of, just letting them know if Kathy would like that. Whoops, sorry.
That's a great idea.
And then we can either put it, now there, just, you know, either on the board in the park, or through the website. You know, just be asking for the date, the time, location, the cost of the event, if there's any, and it would be for nonprofit organizations, and I put that in there because we could end up having running an advertising thing, and that's not
Right.
what the point. But so we're going to try to do this and get this letter out this week, hopefully. Should be no problem. We'll try it, and hopefully that will generate some interest and get things getting published on there.
Okay. Go ahead.
Do you have a list of stakeholders that you plan on sending them to now?
Not yet, but we will have by tomorrow or Thursday. Yeah.
Okay, because I have a pretty extensive list that I can share with you.
Okay, if
you'd
you just
like.
want to send it.
That's the one you gave.
Well, so one of the things that the rec department had started was starting prior to the town website was a calendar of events for community partners that we work with on a regular basis when we try to plan and organize at the rec department. We wanna make sure that we're not overlapping with community events. So, I did have a rough draft already started of a community calendar, and I have shared it with Christina digitally, so now she has it. But I do think that it's gonna be easier for community members to just send it to one place and then have that be that one place for everybody to look and then share accordingly. So I'm hope, because there are a lot of long-standing events that should be there now.
Yeah.
You know, even things such as town meeting day, such as green up day, things that are regularly celebrated, the Chamber's Christmas in the Park, the Halloween in the Park that happen every single year, Cornfest. The Abenaki have a lot of great events coming up that should also be highlighted there as well.
They're very good at sending stuff to me every week.
For the board.
So, this is going to, I'll use a technical term, we're gonna need more pages in our website then.
No,
You don't think so?
no, because it's
Good try
because-
though.
No, because your page is the calendar, you're just listing
Just
events in the calendar.
Yeah, but you would, we have a calendar in there now
Yeah.
already, it's just not being
So-
used.
What
It's
you
just
would-
not being utilized
What
yet,
you would
yes.
see,
Working backwards here, working on it.
when you go to the community calendar, if they send me the things,
See like food trucks, this Sunday, 10 to,
Okay,
actually
see,
10 to 2.
that just got added in there
yes.
today.
So if they send the things along, I can build them all in.
Yeah, that's what we, yeah,
But
cause
the
it
thing is
needs,
to send
yeah,
them to one spot,
Yeah, one
and
second.
I can take every, because Brian gets enough emails, if they send them to me, I have folders for it, and I save it all, and I can post it on the website and then share it on Facebook.
yeah, that's
Does
why.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does, but when I look at this letter, maybe we should, when we, this gives us a list to start of the stakeholders involved,
And
right?
I'm willing to work with Nicole to who we send it to.
But I think we need to ask them, you know, how can we make this work? We want this because, you know.
If they want it advertised and
Yeah,
posted, they just have
yes,
to send it
but,
along.
and we wanna set it up in a workable way. And it can be done electronically. But like you're saying, everything needs to go to one place, right?
Yeah, so
And in the same format.
In the same format.
Yeah.
I mean, but it also could be as easy as making a form to fill out, and people just fill out the form and then it gets sent directly into your mailbox. So it could be a form or a link on the website itself
Yeah.
for people
Right.
to submit
That's fine.
an event,
That is
and
fine.
then it would draft it into the same format and then be sent directly
Yeah.
to
No,
your.
that's brilliant.
So if you wanna be added to the calendar, if you have an event to add to the
Fill out this
calendar,
form and send it, and on
Then
the form
send
you
it.
would have the email to send it to.
It would
No,
automatically send, you wouldn't even have the
Whatever.
it
email,
would send to your
so,
email, but we'd still have control to put it on or not, because you could.
right, so it would be an additional link on the website to submit an event to the community calendar, then it would come up with a digital form where it would take down the name of,
Yeah, they would fill out.
a fillable PDF, and then it would have the space for the name of the organization, name of the person organizing it, and contact information, which is something that may not necessarily need to be publicized, but for you as the gatekeeper to the calendar would be important, as well as date and time of the event, location, cost of the event, and any additional information where we can link to our own personal websites as well, because it also generates traffic
Yeah.
to our websites, so people can also see additional things that are going on.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, no, that was.
So if you're gonna send the letter, I think we should, ask for a response and maybe, so they know what we're thinking. And maybe if they have to do this in some kind of, everybody has to get together at some point in time with you to work out all the details, to get it working so it runs smoothly.
It's gonna take some time.
I know it's gonna
I
take some
know-
time, but we gotta get started.
Well,
Yeah.
Absolutely, but I know for, the library and the rec department who has considerable amount of programming to fill in, every event that's coming is very time consuming for us as well as directors. So making sure that it's a very simple, streamlined process is
That's right.
really important.
That's right, that's what we need to do, that's why, but you're gonna need what's streamlined for somebody might not be for the next person either, so in this day and age, I don't know, but, you know, that's why I think their
So
input is
as
very
simple
important.
as the flyer that's on the board out there, whoever creates that, sends it to me. When they create it, send it.
Okay.
That has all the info on it, and it's simple, it's one page. Cause I print them all off and I keep them in a folder.
Well, it's gotta be a big folder.
I get rid of them after the event's done.
The other thing that I was thinking about on this website is, and I haven't heard any comments, but have you guys heard any comments from people? Has anybody brought something to your attention from the general public?
No.
Not to me.
It's definitely, people have told me that it's more eye appealing. Some
Right.
people
You got a
say,
good comment.
that there's, still having trouble maneuvering it, trying to find the right information. And I'm not sure if that's, the website themselves or, people not just being familiar with the new operating system. But overall, I've had good feedback about the
I've had good
website.
feedback.
Yeah.
What about, we have members of the community here, I don't know if they've been using it or not, are aware of it, what's your comment? Do you have a comment?
Yeah, good try, huh?
Well, I mean, in this day and age, this is kind of important, and, I guess there's still opportunities, and we're gonna see as we go along.
Well,
Gotta-
it would be great to have one calendar, even just to have all the meetings are all on one calendar and
Well, the meetings
as
are
well
on
as the
each
events and
website.
everything.
Yeah, some of them are way outdated, the minutes,
Cause they have to stay on there for what, 2 years?
Probably. Stay on forever, I mean.
no, I'm talking about, I think, I didn't see our meeting, we were a meeting behind yesterday. Now, we just approved the minutes tonight, so is that going on there tomorrow?
So, when you go to the previous meetings, so go to, what is 10:15, so go to July 19th meeting. You can see when it was approved, it's the minutes, so I will log in tomorrow and put that you approved the previous minutes and they'll be on there, and they stay on here, the minutes and the agendas.
Yeah, but you don't get that, I'm gonna fool it a little bit more at home, cause I didn't end up in the same place
So
you
what
are
you
right
do
now.
for select board, all the different ones, you go to them, and these are the upcoming meetings.
Well, wait a minute, no, I'm talking if just right from the home page. You go back to the home page. And you click on right here.
So this is
If you go
news.
into this townwide new, or.
So those weren't on there, I put those on there today after your call, I went and got the flyer and I put those on.
Okay,
So those are
alright, so
the
you've
two.
already changed it, okay, so
Yeah,
not.
I added that flyer.
No,
But
okay.
so because all of the things on the community calendar are in that ribbon on the bottom, all of the town meetings and village meetings should be inputted into the calendar themselves as well. So they're logging on, so when people go right to that front page to see, all they have to do is scroll down and see that the meetings are
So
there.
that'll
Yeah.
have to be a question I have with EcoPixel, how they build that in, cause they're not linked to do that.
Alright, so-
It may be an extra step that you have to manually input them in the calendar themselves.
So when I create an event, then create it on the calendar too. so-
Right, and then list it on the calendar.
We definitely all
Play
have
with that.
confidence in you though.
I can do it.
Because I think it's important, especially on the web, on the
So
desktop
what I
browser.
could do, once I create the event for the meeting, like this, and then I can create an event on the calendar for the meeting.
Right, so that way
Good night, Rob.
it's showing.
Good night,
the
Rob.
calendar.
Good
night,
So
Sandy.
You're going to the town and you're seeing town-specific things, but because the town encompasses everything in the village, the people in the village might not understand to go to the town calendar to see when the town meetings are. But if they're all collectively in the community calendar, we can see that there's a trustees meeting on Monday, there's a select board meeting on Tuesday, there's a DRB meeting on Wednesday. And we'll have a big picture of all the municipal meetings that are happening. And I think that will also solve a little bit of overlap to when other programs are happening in the community.
I can do that.
I've got a suggestion, we hired a very reputable company to put this together. I'm sure maybe there might be a fee, I don't know if it's already been paid, that we can talk to them about how to get these things set up. They know, the people that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she had mentioned that just a minute
I
ago.
was asked that
okay.
if when I create a meeting, if it can
Automatically link to the calendar.
link to the calendar.
Sit down and move
If
that
it's
once.
just, I mean, if I have to do it both ways, I can, I just need to.
And the other thought I had on this, if they're putting in this thing that, you know, okay, next week is gonna be Corn Fest, and for more information, click here.
And then it should send you to our website with
Right.
the
It's
information.
gotta be set up like that.
So that, and if you notice, every Friday I share all of next week's meetings, and I share them from the website page. So when you click on that to see that agenda, it takes you to the webpage. Have you noticed that, you know what I mean?
No, I've checked that out too. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time, but I have been looking at
Go
it.
to the town's Facebook and look at, well, I would have shared tonight's meeting and then planning tomorrow night. And it'll take you right to the website, to
Oh,
that
yes, I
agenda.
have, yes, I
To
have
that
noticed
agenda,
that.
it brings you right to it.
I think we need to do more than a week in advance. I think it needs to be at least 2 weeks in advance.
So I've been doing on Fridays for the next week. Do you want me to do 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
I'm good.
It seems like the community, it works in that 2-week bubble. for planning.
2 weeks notice, so that's fine. Okay.
Well, we're gonna keep working on it. I mean, overall, I'm very happy.
Progress.
Yes,
So far, yeah, it's nice.
I'm very happy. I can get more out of this than I could ever out of the old one.
Yeah, it's
Just-
better than
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. So that's why I've been looking at it. Maybe we can do this too. Well, does anybody else have anything on that?
Nope.
Okay, if not, then we're down to any other necessary business, none that I'm aware of. Brian?
I had
No.
something that
Oh.
I should have brought up with the law enforcement, but I forgot. So I don't know where you want me to talk about it. Any other necessary business or,
I guess, would that fit there, Brian? Yeah.
so I just wanted to, so I went on a ride along with an officer when they were patrolling the town of Swanton. Cause my health hasn't been great and I figured, well, why not do that? And I just wanna say that I was extremely pleased with, where they went and what they patrolled, and they did respond to some calls. And they are really on top of things in the town for sure. With as far as any kind of drugs or speeding, I mean, it's every car that was going by, it was hitting the radar, making sure that they were. And it was nice to see from my perspective that out of 40 cars that we passed, there might have been 2 that were really going somewhat fast. And the cool part is you can ask a lot of questions, but that radar reaches out so far that they don't even know that it's a cop car yet.
Yeah.
And so they're shooting radar. I mean, we were down on the Quam shore, and he was shooting radar before they even saw us. And they just weren't speeding really. I mean, a couple miles over, you know, and dozens and dozens of cars that way. So it was really educational.
And I did want to report, Earl, that they did put the speed machine down on South River for us.
Yes, they did.
I've been following up on that. So we went a week, and of course I go there and do my Meals on Wheels, and it wasn't there. So I sent an email to the chief, and I'm happy to report to the board that he responded immediately and said, no, we're just trying to figure out a proper place to put it where we're gonna get the best reading. And when I went, did Meals on Wheels today, they've got it right here at the intersection of the county road and the BB road, right there on the right.
But it was very educational, and I learned a lot, and I think they're doing an exceptional job. I think a lot of people don't know about it, you know, but they.
So what did he pay you to say all that?
No, nothing. Trust me, I was very unbiased.
Well, I do think the police protection in Swanton probably never better shape now than ever. than
Yeah.
It is now. You know, because even most people in the community have a lot of respect for our police officers. And it's because of the people they are. Let's go on to correspondence. Do you have any correspondence?
No,
Okay,
Do you wanna talk about the letter from Betsy, is that correspondence?
well, I would assume so, even though it's not on the agenda. But, because this wasn't circulated to the entire board, and and that's my fault, because I don't keep up with this stuff. And I didn't realize that until today, that's why I called Brian to see, you know. And obviously you guys, nobody else has gotten this letter, and this is more to do with the meeting on the 22nd and not tonight. But I just wanted to make sure the board has seen all the emails that have been sent
Thank you.
to the town, okay?
Thank you very much.
Alright. Public comment, any more public comment? We'll do upcoming events, the first one will be the planning commission, and that'll be Wednesday, it's tomorrow, right? August 16th. At the town offices, they did not put a time, but I'm gonna assume they're 6:30.
I think 6:30, yeah.
6:30,
Okay.
yeah.
So he'll be here tomorrow night at 6:30, the planning commission. A special select board meeting will be held Tuesday, August 22nd, here at the town offices. And I believe that's gonna start at 6.
Yep, 6 o'clock.
First item on the agenda is the final approval for the town plan. The second article on the agenda will be discussion about the future or how we're gonna move forward on the community and rec center. So any from the public is well invited. There will be a lot of people, I assume most of the rec commission will be here and the select board, and we're gonna discuss some of the things that have been done, work that has been done on the past by the rec committee, and issues that, you know, we've been discussing as of late.
And
The
the trustees.
And the village trustees will be here too, because this is a big issue for Swan. And so that's next Tuesday. And, you know, if you really wanna surprise us, call. Because if we get a lot of calls that they're gonna be here, we'll move the meeting to somewhere where we have more room than here. I'd like to see that happen. Then there'll be a DRB meeting, Development Review Board meeting on Thursday, August 24th, and that's here at 6 p.m. at the town offices. Is there any need for executive session, Brian?
No,
None of the
not
other.
for me.
Okay, then you know what that means.
I move that we adjourn this meeting,
I'll second that.
All right.
and that's a record, as long as
I
I've
think
been on the
so.
select board.
The motion has been made to adjourn the meeting, and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.